So this is my diamond wheel. Second item that I'm going to use to help determine this distance of 200 thousandths is a lighted edge finder. I have to know where I'm starting. I have to know where that edge of the blade is in space. When it's on the milling machine, I use a lighted edge finder, and I'm going to show you how it works. This has a battery on the inside. This part, which is the collet, is gripped by the milling machine, and this probe right here is insulated from the rest of the body and the battery, which is inside, and the collet. And when contact is made between the body, or the milling machine, and the probe, it lights up. Okay? Can you see that? So I'm going to use this probe against the blade. And when it makes contact, not now because it's not in the milling machine, when it first makes contact with the very, very leading edge of the blade, it's going to light up. And that's going to tell me that this probe is now exactly even with the edge of the blade. Why is that important? I'm going to show you in the next illustration here. There we go. I want this curve to be about, I like to use 10 degrees, and I'm going to talk about the different degrees in just a moment. Using a 3-inch diameter, a 1.5-inch radius, I've determined, as I said before, 200 thousandths between the center line and the edge of the blade. That one. Okay. When the probe touches the very, very, very leading edge of the blade and it lights up, that probe right here, this is the circle, and here's the leading edge of the blade. The diameter of the probe is exactly 200 thousandths of an inch. We know that, that's been determined, which means that the center line of the probe is 100 thousandths from the edge of the blade. So we now have our first measurement, 100 thousandths with the probe just barely touching the edge of the blade. That's our first measurement. Second measurement is going to be determined by moving the blade away from the probe. Here it is down here. We're going to move the blade exactly 100 thousandths away from the probe, with the 100 thousandths from the center line to the edge. The additional 100 thousandths will give us 200 thousandths of an inch between the center line of the machine, of the milling machine, and the edge of the blade. And that's going to be, there we go. That's going to be the final measurement. That's how we determine 200 thousandths. Now that's what I use because of the thickness of the blades that I use and because of the size of the wheel that I use. It's important to understand that if you're going to be doing this type of curved lock face, that each individual knife maker is going to have to experiment on his own to get just exactly the right numbers in terms of distances, diameters, and thickness of blade.